Can you tell who I am? Any guesses? I'll give you a hint. He always hides in these big pictures with all these things. And you're supposed to find him. Can you tell who I am? I'm Waldo, right? Where's Waldo? So today we're going to talk about the broad A, specifically about the broad A. We've already talked about how vowels can make three sounds. The A can go a, ah. The O can go ah, o, oo, and the U can go u, oo, Those last sounds are called the broad sounds, but we're going to focus specifically on A today. So I have some words that all have A in them. I'm going to read them to you, and then I'm going to put them really close to the camera. And I want you to pause, and as a class or as a group, I want you to look at the words and see if you notice a pattern. I've put some letters in L to hopefully help you. You ready? Here's your words. All, water, want, wall, all right, wash, water. Oops, there's water twice, isn't it? And also. Look at those words for a minute. Do you notice how the A in all those words is making its third sound? It's going ah. So I'm going to put it closer to the camera, and I want you as a class to see if you can figure out why are all of these making an ah sound? And it's going to lead us to a rule. Can you see them all? Here we go. Okay, so you should have paused for a minute to see if you can figure out the rule. So did anyone figure out the rule? Because there is a rule. Where do you notice, or what do you notice about all of the A's in these words? Do you notice that all the A's in these words come after a W or before an L? Did you notice that? And some of them come after a W and before an L in the exact same word, which leads us to a rule. So I put it on a white card. We have blue cards for all of our rules, right? But this one's on a white card on purpose because I'm all in red and my red is in the back. And so I wanted you to be able to see it. So look at this rule. Do you see the A with two dots over the top? Remember, when there's two dots over the top of a vowel, it's making its broad sound. And in the case of A, it's going ah. Now let's skip this top one and focus on this. Do you see how the A is after the W and before the L? So here's the rule that you need to know. A will oftentimes make an ah sound after a W or before an L. We're going to call this the Waldo rule. Do you hear the word Waldo, like in Where's Waldo? Do you hear that? Now think about it. What letter do you think it is that's making that ah sound in Waldo? Raise your hand if you have a guess. It's an A. Yeah, it's an A. And think of the word Waldo. What sound are you hearing at the beginning of Waldo? You're hearing a W, which is made by the W, of course, right? So the word Waldo, the A is going ah, or its third sound, ah, because it's followed by a W, and actually it's before an L too, Waldo. So the reason all of these are making their ah sound is because they're after a W or before an L. Thumbs up if that makes sense. We're going to call this the Waldo rule. The Waldo rule, okay? Now let's look at this first one though. You see the first one? That just has a blank and then the broad A. So Mr. Slates, what does this have to do with anything? The A will often say ah at the end of a word as well. So listen to these words. Sofa, yoga, Yoda. Now is that really how I say them? Do I really say Yoda or do I say Yoda? Do I really say yoga or do I say yoga? Do I really say sofa or do I say sofa? Do you notice how all of those words, when I said them with the broad ah, I said them like that because they end in an A. Yoda is ya-o-da, ah. It's an A. Master Yoda, it ends in an A. Now, it ends in an A, but most of the time, those end A's, guess what? It's back to, oh, our lazy schwa. They make a schwa sound. But when your teacher goes to help you to spell them, just pretend you want to spell Yoda. They're not going to go Yoda, because then you're going to write a U, of course. They're going to make that ah sound, that broad ah sound, so you know that it's an A. Does that make sense? So let's go over our Waldo rule. So say A says ah at the end of a word. A says ah at the end of a word. And A says ah after a W and before an L. A says ah after a W and before an L, which is why we're going to call this the Waldo rule.